I come from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. I had this macho ego. I'm like, I got to have my own kids before I adopt. And little did you know, in '06, God touched my heart. The later year after I bought the McDonald's, I told my wife, I think I'm going to adopt. And when I started the adoption process, it took 6 months. In February 27, 2007, Grace was born. And the story is this: when she was born, the adoption agency called my wife and said, listen, a little girl was just born. And the mother picked you guys to be the mom and dad, but they didn't want to name her so you could name her and feel like you gave birth. But can you go buy her clothes? She has no girl clothes. They only have boy clothes in the hospital. So my wife goes to a store in the Gap in Southbury, Connecticut, and she's there buying a bunch of clothes. And the lady in there goes to my wife, hey, Anna, you're pregnant? And she goes, no, we're adopting a little girl. And she's like, really? She goes, what are you naming her? So my wife said a couple of names. She goes, you need to name your daughter Grace. So she told that to my wife, and my wife comes home all excited, right? Tells me the story. So you think she heard from the Lord. So she has a book of 50,000 names and another book of 200,000 names. We're picking names, Lynette, till 2, 3 in the morning. This name, that name, that name. So I said, Anna, enough. Let's go to bed. We'll get the name in the morning. So in the morning when I wake up, because now I'm on fire for God, I got saved in '06. The Lord spoke to me in the shower. He said, you need to be obedient. I named your daughter Grace. I used the lady in the Gap to name your daughter. You need to name your daughter Grace. So I get out of the shower. I tell my wife, listen, this is going on. She's looking at me, not buying it. So woman intuition, I have man intuition. I look at her, I'm like, hey, Anna, what's going on here? She's like, I go, you're not buying. I go, you know what? Pick the middle name. She still wasn't buying. She goes, all right. So she submitted. She picked Eliana. Eliana in Hebrew means my God has answered me. It gets better. Her name is Grace Eliana Rodriguez. So I said, Anna, listen, I got to go to work. I'll meet you at the McDonald's in West Haven at 2:00. That was our first store we bought. You meet me there. We'll go to the agency. So fast forward, we go, we meet, we get to the agency. We get to the agency, and I see the social worker getting out of the car, and she had a frantic look. So I said, Miss Ann, what's going on? She goes, I got good news and bad news. I go, what's the good news? She goes, your daughter's inside. You get to meet her. So I said, so what could be bad? She goes, well, remember how I told you guys could give her the biological name? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, you can't. I go, why? She goes, the mother called the hospital this morning before they released her and gave her a name for you. And I was like, well, what did she name her? Grace.
Oh my
We broke down
goodness.
in tears. My wife started crying. I pulled the paper. I said, read this. She opens it up, Grace Eliana Rodriguez. She starts crying.